ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki, Prem se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham ki, Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham ki, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki, Ganga Mai ki, Yamuna Mai ki, Tulsi Devi ki, Bhakti Devi ki, Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki, Brihat Pradanga Transcendental Book Distribution ki, Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki, Samveda Bhakta Vrinda ki, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Welcome back.
Thank you, Mother.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Balabha Girivardhari Gopijana Balabha Girivardhari Gopijana Balabha Girivardhari Jasodhanandana Brajachanurandana Jasodhanandana Brajachanurandana Jamunatira Vanachadi Yamunatira Vanachadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Adi Madhava Kunjabi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Adi Madhava Kunjabi Gopijana Balabha Girivardhari Gopijana Balabha Girivardhari Jasodhanandana Brajachanurandana Jasodhanandana Brajachanurandana Jamunatira Vanachadi Yamunatira Vanachadi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Adi Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Adi Madhava Kunjabi Adi Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajagacharya Astatara Satasi Srimadis Divine Grace Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Gaura Premanandi. What's the verse? What's the chapter? 3, 2, 4, and 5. 3, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, number 4 has no purport. Number 5 has a nice purport. So let's chant together. 3, Canto 3, Chapter 3, text number 5, right? What? Yeah, okay, so let's chant 5. Priyam Prabhur Gramya Iva Priyaya Vidhitsur Archad Dutaram Yad Arte Vajradravatam Saguno Rasandha Kridam Ragonunam Ayam Vadhonam Priyam Prabhur Gramya Iva Priyaya Vidhitsur Archad Dutaram Yadarte Vrajyadravatam Saguno Rasandaha Kridam Ragono Nam Ayam Vadhonam. Priyam Prabhur Gramya Iva Priyaya Vidhitsur Archad Dutaram Yadarte Vajradravatam Saguno Rasanad Kridam Ragonunam Ayam Vadhonam. Ladies? Priyam of the dear wife, Prabhu, the Lord, Gramyaha, ordinary living being, Iva, in the matter of, Priyaya, just to please, Vidhitsuhu, wishing. Archat, brought about. Dyutarum, the parijata flower tree. Yat, for which. Arte, in the matter of. Vajri, Indra, the king of heaven. Adravatam, went forward to fight with him. Saganaha, with full strength. Rusha, in anger. Andaha, blind. Kridamragaha, henpecked. Nonam, of course. Ayam, this. Vadhunam, of the wives. Translation: just to please his dear wife, the Lord brought back the parijata tree from heaven, just as an ordinary husband would do. But Indra, the king of heaven, induced by his wife's henpecked as he was, ran after the Lord with full force to fight him. Ooh. Purport: the Lord once went to the heavenly planet to present an earring to Aditi, the mother of the demigods, and his wife Satyabhama also went with him. There is a special flowering tree called the parijata, which grows only in the heavenly planets, and Satyabhama wanted this tree just to please his wife. Like an ordinary husband, the Lord brought back the tree, and this enraged Vajri, or the controller of the thunderbolt. Indra's wives inspired him to run after the Lord to fight, and Indra, because he was a henpecked husband and also a fool, listened to them and dared to fight with Kṛṣṇa. He was a fool on this occasion because he forgot that everything belongs to the Lord. Paragraph. There was no fault on the part of the Lord, even though he took away the tree from the heavenly kingdom, but because Indra was henpecked, dominated by the beautiful wives like Shachi, he became a fool, just as all persons who are dominated by their wives are generally foolish. Indra thought that Kṛṣṇa was a henpecked husband, who, only by the will of his wife Satyabhama, took away the property of heaven, and therefore he thought that Kṛṣṇa could be punished. He forgot that the Lord is the proprietor of everything and cannot be henpecked. The Lord is fully independent, and by his will only, he can have hundreds and thousands of wives like Satyabhama. He was not therefore attached to Satyabhama because she was a beautiful wife, but because he was pleased with her devotional service, and thus wanted to reciprocate the unalloyed devotion of his devotee. And there's a previous verse that has no purport. We'll read that. Text 4. Subduing 7 bulls whose noses were not pierced, the Lord achieved the hand of Princess Nagnajati in the open competition to select her bridegroom. Although the Lord was victorious, his competitors asked the hand of the princess, and thus there was a fight. Well equipped with weapons, the Lord killed or wounded all of them, but he was not hurt himself. Here we are in the 3rd canto, getting a summary of upcoming cantos, particularly 10th canto, Kṛṣṇa in Vrindavan, Kṛṣṇa out of Vrindavan. And the wives of Kṛṣṇa, 5 of the wives of Kṛṣṇa is in one chapter, and the winning the hand of Nagnajiti, the daughter of King Nagnajit, was quite an accomplishment. It's said these 7 bulls were really big and really powerful. If you've ever seen a big, powerful bull, it's frightening. They can get really big, and they're wild. When they're wild, there's 7 of them. So it said they had sharp horns, and many princes and kings tried to subdue them, and they were pierced by their horns, limbs broken. For Kṛṣṇa, no problem. Even one of them, what to speak of 7 of them, because he expanded into 7 Kṛṣṇas and defeated the bulls and thus won the hand of Nagnajiti. And as he was leaving with Nagnajiti by his side, the other princes and kings were, as was the custom during events like this, they confronted the victor, Kṛṣṇa, and Kṛṣṇa finished them all, either wounded them or killed them, and off he went with Nagnajiti. Pretty chivalrous. So this incident is described 3 times in the Bhagavatam, this in detail. It's described here in just one verse. It's described again in Canto 10, Canto 10, chapter 50 something. And then it's described again when Draupadi meets with the queens in Kurukshetra at the time of the solar eclipse. And she asks each of them, how did you get married? Tell me the story. And so Nagnajiti gives a quick summary of her story. Now there's some of the others are just one verse. In her case, it's several verses. But he's showing his prowess. And she was very happy. And Kṛṣṇa was very happy. And it was a wonderful pastime. And the other, what preceded Kṛṣṇa returning the nose ring of Aditi isn't described. But the denizens of heaven approached Kṛṣṇa, help. This demon did many things, and one of the things, he came to heaven and beat everybody up and took her ornaments. So please get them back. Mother of King Indra, Aditi. So Kṛṣṇa agreed. He was in heaven. He summoned Garuda, and with Satyabhama by his side to give her a thrill, because she likes thrills, he brought her to the place where Narakasura had so many princesses. There's details and details. 16,100 princesses were imprisoned. And so he killed the Mura demon, then he killed Narakasura, and then he freed the ladies. And the ladies who were in prison wanted Kṛṣṇa as their husband. He agreed. And he was then also, if I can remember correctly, it was the mother of Narakasura, who's earth personified, returned Aditi's ornament. And so he returned the ornament back to the heavenly planets. He came back to the heavenly planets. While in the heavenly planets, he gave back the nose ring, or the ornament, golden ornament, precious, coveted ornament of Indra's mother. And then came this request of Satyabhama. Can you bring this Parijata tree back to Dwarka because they're in heaven. And Kṛṣṇa agreed, and Indra declined. So Kṛṣṇa took anyway in a big battle, and Indra was defeated. How could somebody in such an exalted position not want to give as a gift to another person, what to speak of the Supreme Person, but give a gift? Because he's just returned his mother's ornament, golden ornament. And, give some reciprocation, please. And certainly in Vedic culture, what to speak of even outside of Vedic culture, an expression of gratitude. But at least the description is consistent. The wives, headed by Shashi, they didn't want the Parijata to leave heaven. They were like territorial and proprietary, and that was them. And he, being henpecked, decided to come after Kṛṣṇa. Wild. So don't think that if you go to heaven, things are going to be nice. They may be nice on the material side, but not nice in the most important sense. And vulnerable to demons and vulnerable to forgetfulness of Kṛṣṇa and even becoming a combatant of Kṛṣṇa. No, this isn't the first time that Indra did something like this. So the risk and having some worldly opulence, what to speak of heavenly opulence, is like superlative or extreme material opulence. But having material opulence, the risk is becoming proud of the material opulence. And it's just like, because it happened yesterday evening, this young boy, 8-year-old boy, sang so nicely. And I was thinking, if I praise him, he may get proud. But we should praise anyways, because that's his choice. Now, we may want to be careful, but if you do something nicely, then the tendency is to want some acknowledgement, please. Some acknowledgement, please. It may not be with that tone, but there's some expectation. It's human, or it's a false ego contamination. And the point here is that Indra had that false ego contamination and Kṛṣṇa didn't have. But the one that did have was thinking the one that didn't have has it. Atmavan manyate jagat. Others are like me. Since I have this contamination, you must have this contamination. So he learned the hard way. Kṛṣṇa doesn't like that his devotee, Indra or anybody, continues to carry pride in their heart. He does something. And so if something happens to you or someone dear to you, where Kṛṣṇa is breaking the pride in their heart, that's good. That's good. But Kṛṣṇa doesn't always do that. He may just give you more praise and more something and more something and more something. And then you're higher and higher and you have more pride and more, you have what's the phrase? The bigger they are, the harder they fall, or something like that. So it's not beware of success, it's just beware of pride. And how do you deal with that? How you deal with that is just like this young boy, the ability to sing nicely, nice melody, very, very attractive melody. That's a gift from Kṛṣṇa. I mean, the gift was somebody somewhere on YouTube and he practiced it. But somebody else can practice and it doesn't happen. So if somebody practices and it happens, Why is it happening with one and not with another? And the answer is Supersoul. Krishna, it's Krishna's. The obstacles are false ego. And with false ego comes these, other unwanted things. Kam, Krodlo, Moha, Mada, Macharya, they're very formidable. Pride is especially formidable because we want happiness. To have happiness, the material conception is you have to have stuff because that's where happiness lies. You get stuff, and it isn't happiness, but you become proud. I got stuff. And it's it's insidious. It just goes with the territory. It's the nature of the place where we live. People do something to get something, when they get something, they become proud. They don't get something, and they become frustrated, and they anger. So it's desire driven by false ego. So we've identified the culprit. It's false ego. But why do we get false ego? Because we wanted it. The culprit is me, not false ego. And the world goes on. So what's the way out? Like Amrita Kelly's question yesterday about unwanted things and how to get rid of those unwanted things, because they linger around, and I could not pay attention to them, but they linger around anyways. And when I pay attention to them, they don't go away. So what to do? You have to go more deeply. And part of the going more deeply is by hearing, just like, the Bhagavatam is our medicine. Bhavo sadat shrotra manobi ramat. It's medicine taken through the ear, and it acts directly on the heart. So we're hearing, and it's not just a nice story and learn the details of the nice story. I mean, those things that's good. But what's the purpose of hearing? What's the purpose of hearing? What's the message that is being emphasized by our founder Acharya here? The material position of Indra and the non-material position of Kṛṣṇa. Or the material position of anyone who is thinking, avajananti mam mudha manushim tanamarshritam param bhavam ajananto. Such persons don't know my higher nature. They think I'm one of them. They think I've assumed a material form, and with my material form I have material desires, like being attached to my wife or wives, and I'm henpecked by my wife or wives, and I do stuff because I'm henpecked, because I'm got a material body and material mind and a false ego driving the machine. So we can't understand Kṛṣṇa that way. He's not one of us. He enjoys, that this is the punchline of the purport here, he enjoys reciprocating with the love of Satyabhama. He enjoys. And so he did what he did. I mean, it says in the Bhagavatam, he took Satyabhama with him from the heavenly realm because he knows that she likes adventure. So it's not the same, but it's similar to Ram taking Sita into the forest. That result was a problem. And Krishna bringing Satyabhama could easily be a problem. You go fight a demon and bring Satyabhama with you. It'd be a problem. He's attached, right? But he's all powerful, so there's no problem. So then why was there a problem with Ram? Because he's all powerful. It was many other things, to teach lessons, many, many, many other things. Many, 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 many. That's 4. other things. So that the Supreme Lord can have a problem or not have a problem, and it's no problem. Because he's guiding us and teaching us and instructing us, and in his case also experiencing Vipralambha Bhav, the love and separation that was intensified by Sita's being kidnapped and trying to find her and the whole everything. As if he's one of us, but we must for sure remember he's not one of us. A little sharing. Just this morning, somebody from somewhere sent me a little text saying, among other things, do I have a little list of Ramayana, passages from Ramayana where chanting the name of Ram is glorified? So I checked Shamakund, who's very, very knowledgeable in Ramayana, and his quick reply was, to my knowledge, because Ramayana is a treatise that's presenting Lord Ramachandra as a person, there's no glorifications of his name. Here's a list of glorifications of Ram's name, but from other places. Now, it's not that Valmiki didn't know, but Valmiki was doing a certain thing, giving pastimes as if Ram was one of us, although clearly he's not one of us. In many ways, he's clearly not one of us, and we're not like him. In other words, it's to nicely relish and appreciate what Uddhava is saying here and what the Bhagavatam is presenting us, etc. It's not optional, it's imperative to have nice explanation from pure devotees. Now, what happened? What did all the people before these commentaries existed? What did people do? How did they understand? They didn't understand. But they came purified just by hearing, and the charm and the all-attractiveness of the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. And it is sufficient. And always, although written commentaries may not be so abundant, way back, Bhagavatam is as old as Vyasadeva. So people would hear and discuss the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam in the company of saintly people. And that same process is edifying and purifying. So our great fortune is we have our acharyas helping us. So at least we can get the fundamentals correct and then keep heading in the right direction. See if there's some discussion. 8 o'clock.
Kṛṣṇa Prabhu. During the Govardhan Leela pastime, we see that Lord Indra was not aware that it was Kṛṣṇa, the boy, who was protecting the Brajvasis from the rain. He was not aware that this was the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He later on realized. But in this pastime, Lord Indra realized that it was Lord Kṛṣṇa, right? Who was the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
I'm listening. Okay. Is that it? More?
No, I'm just trying to understand if that's the case.
The premise is, part of the premise is Indra didn't know, and then afterwards he knew.
Yes.
Why do you assume that Indra didn't know?
In this case, he knew, right, Prabhu?
No, let's go back.
Yeah.
In the case of Govardhan Leela, what's the premise of your saying he didn't know until after the Govardhan Leela? What's the premise for you making that statement? He's King Indra.
Oh, okay.
He's not just a fellow. He's King Indra.
Oh,
Now, did he become covered? Yes.
okay.
And what was the covering? Pride.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that he didn't know.
Oh, okay.
He just was covered by pride.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in here, he's covered by pride. He's covered by attachment to his wives.
Mm-hmm.
And he's proud. Like, even if someone's attached, supposing someone's attached to one's wife or to another person, you don't go and attack Krishna.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He lost it. He was covered, thinking I can do what my wife wants or I can do whatever I want.
Okay.
Covered by pride, he lost it.
Okay.
And he was put in his place. You know, the Leela was different. One was just, protecting the residents of Vrindavan from the torrents of rain by lifting Govardhan Hill.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't do anything to Indra. This is a battle.
Mm-hmm.
Battle.
Okay.
And he didn't kill him. He just, was defeated. However that happened.
Oh,
So he knows, but he gets covered in forgetfulness.
okay. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I had a question that came to mind with the story of the boy learning the kirtan song. And I guess what I'm thinking about is the concept of having a desire and then persistence. If
Having a desire and
persistence,
Persistence,
the story was that the boy heard it on YouTube and then
Yeah.
learned it real quick, but then versus someone else that tries it, doesn't learn it.
not only they don't learn it, but they can't sing on tune.
Right.
So Krishna gives, didn't give the same thing to everybody.
But if that second boy sticks with it and then continues trying,
Well,
Is
the
that-
continue to try is pleasing to Krishna. That's the essence, not that the end result is he can sing nicely. That's not a guarantee.
no.
Not a guarantee.
No.
The path is practice, but it's no guarantee the practice is going to, be consummated by
Right.
what we experienced yesterday. Krishna's giving. So, therefore, when the compliment goes, such a person, whatever their age, should understand this is the gift of Krishna. And so it's right in Bhagavad Gita. Yad yad vibhuti mad sattvam. Whatever vibhuti there is in this world, it's from me. So the praise goes to Krishna. So if a little boy trained by his mother can train him just to when people appreciate, this is very nice. Credit goes to Krishna. And same, it was right in what we heard yesterday. What we heard yesterday was, if someone praises, the credit goes to the Supreme Lord. And we're not eager to get praise, we're eager to please Krishna. That's pure devotional service. That's what we're getting those lessons from Prabhupada. Anything else? Online.
So this is from Amalatmana Prabhu. It's about the yesterday's class. In the presentation, it was mentioned we should be neutral, neither friend nor enemy. That was in the presentation. So his question was, we read in Nectar of Instruction that we should have very close and confidential dealings with the devotees, which happens only with deep trust and friendship. But yesterday we heard that we should not be friends or enemy with the devotees. How do we process and balance?
It's very simple. That to say friend enemy means the material, and to say, a close, affectionate relationship with a devotee is not material. That's a simple answer. I could expand, but it's how to fit those two together. They look like contradictions. Like, Krishna is our best friend and the spiritual master is our best friend. So we shouldn't feel friendship towards our spiritual master because Prahlad says don't do it. Anything else online?
Kṛṣṇa Guru Maharaj, I've been contemplating on this message of
Keep going.
I and mine that we hear from how it keeps us so entangled.
Yes.
And I noticed that specifically when it comes to chanting.
Oh, really?
So chanting is oftentimes, or most of the time, is distracted. But when there is calamities with near and dear ones, the mind is so absorbed in just thinking about these calamities to these friends and family that it's extremely difficult to focus on chanting. And I keep telling myself just, those problems are not going, you can attend to them after 2 hours. But it's no matter what, it's so noticeable. So if you have any tips or suggestions.
Abhyasa yoga yuktena cetasa nanya. From wherever, by practice, wherever the mind. So if the mind just stays over there, what to speak of wandering, then it's the same instruction. You bring it back. Well, I'm not very successful in bringing it back. Keep trying. Supposing to take different context. Supposing somebody has a medical problem, and whatever is the medical problem, it hurts, whatever it is, and the mind goes to the hurt. So what to do? If you just get absorbed in the hurt, it's not going to help resolve the medical problem. It's going to debilitate the medical problem further. The absorption in the pain of the medical problem grows. And it's not solving the medical problem. So then you go, so what to do? Which, it's another way of asking your question. And you pay attention to what good health is and get a good physician and you follow the good physician. And slowly, good physician and your application to what the good physician is recommending. And the medical problem becomes a bit improved and the pain and the distraction because of the pain. But supposing it happens, there's chronic ailment that just keeps going and going and going. That wasn't your question. Your question was, the ailment, and the mind going to the ailment, and it's just to the degree that yoga kshema vaham yaham, the tesham evanukam partam. That's where your attention should go. You cultivate where your attention should go, and yoga kshema vaham yaham. And that requires faith. And Krishna may be examining your faith or giving you an opportunity to strengthen your faith by the calamity. May not feel like it. It's like, why is this going on? I'm trying to be a good devotee, and look at this, and then there's that one, and the material circumstances of life are the consequences of what's back there. Our misuse of free will. And here we are experiencing what we're experiencing. That's in the worldly sense, and then the transcendental sense is in your life, Krishna is acting to help you become free from the very root cause of material existence so that you can come to Krishna. And what's that root cause? Affinity for the temporary. So turning you upside down and holding you by the heels and shaking you a few times. All right. This isn't a place to be the enjoyer. What is the program? Oh, thank you for getting the message. And it happens. Nice devotees that get hung by their heels and shaken. We know people that happens, whether it's this or that or the other thing. And it's a challenge, but it's an opportunity also to take deeper shelter. Now, your point is when those calamities escalate, then it becomes even more difficult. But to speak of everyday stuff, it becomes more difficult. The opportunity has escalated because there isn't any other shelter. There isn't any other shelter. And that when that light goes on, it can be an impetus for deeper shelter. If that light doesn't go on, no one screams. These quiet scream, if not loud one. The material existence is not a nice place. We're not supposed to become numb to near ones and dear ones, and that's the solution. That's not the solution. What's the solution? Okay. Next. Go ahead.
Guru Maharaj, I was about to ask this question, why Krishna has to behave if we forget the fact that he's a Supreme Lord. It seems like totally like a henpecked husband.
It seems like what?
Henpecked husband. But I'm actually appreciating and wanted to share you bringing that aspect of we have to remember that he is the Supreme Lord at all times. And also for bringing that aspect of Lord Ramachandra's and Krishna's comparison. Problem or not, it doesn't matter. Because that is one thing I keep getting stuck again and again. Why he has to do this way or that? Yeah. So that was very powerful. Thank you for that. And then I was like, okay, Indra is getting covered. So how do we not get covered or remember that all the time? And you brought that point of Shrotra Manobhirama, that's the Bhava Aushadha. So just wanted to share that appreciation. Thank you.
So this is from Balaram Prasad Prabhu. He sent 3 messages.
3.
So he says, we do have some expectation even doing seva to lordships
Of course.
as a human.
We're conditioned. We're human. That means conditioned.
It is subtle, false ego as you mentioned. So can I think praise also helps in encouragement?
It depends. It depends on the consciousness behind the giver and the receiver. It can be helpful or it can be detrimental. Depends on the consciousness behind the individuals involved. Next.
And he says, doership mentality is time immemorial, and how to get rid of it. Again, surrender depends on humility.
Bhakti. Yeah, you can say surrender, but surrender is part of bhakti. Bhakti. That's the umbrella. It includes everything. That's it? Okay. You have something? Okay.
So this is from Amara Mataji. How to understand if the service I'm doing are with pure intention? Generally, one is not aware if there is a deeper need that is being fulfilled. And at my stage, I know it's a mix. how may I proceed to more and more pure intention by understanding?
Well, she's asking two things. How do I know, and how do I get out of the contamination? It's the how-to question. So, two things, and how do we know, are we on this side or that side? One is assume there's a mix. And the second is the more that Krishna is at the center and the less that you're at the center, the more you're on the right track. Very simple litmus test. The more Krishna is at the center and the thoughtfulness about, is this pleasing or not to Krishna, that's Krishna consciousness. And then, the how to, my answer to how to. I've got a new one. The new one came from Light of the Bhagavad, chapter 43. I'll send you, and you can forward it to her and others. Prabhupada says you do these 5, 6 things, and that's the process to get where you want to go. 6 things. Write into purple, 1 sentence. Nice package. Then do them. That's how to. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. You have something? You have something. Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, great. Prabhupada.